what to do when your family is full of bad cooks, Tom Selleck could have been Indiana Jones, and we find one reviewer who totally gets the number 23. We're going to talk about all this and more, but first, everybody, places, it's time for Last Looks. Hello, my fingerlings. I'm your host, Paul Scheer, and welcome to How Did This Get Made? Last Looks, where you get to voice your issues on the number 23. Jason and I will also chat about all the stuff that we are into. Plus, we are going to reveal next week's movie. And as always, I will try to solve your problems on Paul's helpline. But first things first, a big shout out to Jake Hohenstein for that killer heavy metal theme. We needed some heavy metal back in this show, and I love that you brought it, and you brought it A+. A+. And I feel like heavy metal doesn't want an A+. I'm going to be like, you fucking failed, Jake. You failed. But that's what you should want because you're fucking metal, bro. You don't want to pass the normal criteria. You want to flunk out. So you flunked, Jake Hohenstein. Anyway, we love these songs. If you like making songs, you want to make a Last Looks theme, send it to howdidthisgetmade@earwolf.com, but keep it short. 15, 20 seconds is best. Now, I know that we talk a lot about movies, but the bigger question is, how are you? How are you doing in the world? Can I help you? You got problems. Let me solve them. It is now time for Paul's Helpline. Hit it, Mark Granger.
Your boss is an arsehole, you fell out with your mate. You want to ask a cute girl out on a date? Well, people of Earth, your help is here. If you've got a problem, call Tall John Shear.
Thank you, Mark. We got a bunch of great calls today. Let's get into it. First on the line, Ellie from Cleveland.
Hi, Paul. This is Ellie from Cleveland, Ohio. I was calling because I'm currently in a somewhat predicament, a very kind one necessarily, but my sister-in-law, mother-in-law, and grandma-in-law want to pre-cook a bunch of meals for me and my husband because we're expecting our first child, which is very kind and generous of them, although none of them are known for being legendary cooks. So my fear is that they're going to make us a bunch of food and then we're not really going to want to eat the food. So I'm trying to figure out how to graciously work around this situation, and I was just wondering if you had any advice.
Ellie, you have a difficult proposition in front of you. I understand the want for someone to do this, but you can't control it. You can't control hospitality. If it sucks, it sucks. Throw it away. Give it away. You don't have to eat it. Just be grateful for it. I've really tried to learn this lesson as I get older. Just be grateful for the idea, the thought. If you want to get a little bit more controlling, you can. You can do it in a very subtle way, though. You can say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited you want to do this for us. You know what we would love? Just like some pasta so we could have it ready to go, and then we could put the sauce on it when we want to, or, you know, like you can give them an idea of what you want. Like, what we would love is just for you to grill up some chicken breasts, you know, something that you really can't mess up, right? And that would be great. We could have that during the day. We could have that during the night. Like, you can give them those parameters if you want, or you just accept what they give you and you get rid of it. Or, you know, I mean, I don't know where finances fall into this, but you say, you know what would be amazing though? Honestly, we would love like just a Papa John pizza. If you have like a Papa John, like that would be like, we're craving it so bad. And they're like, oh, we could do that. We get you a Papa John pizza. Like you could, I guess what I'm saying is lead or lie. Either way, be thankful. Ellie, congratulations on your baby. I hope you name it Gerard Butler, regardless of the sex. Next up, May, sharing a trope that she has found in bad movies.
Hi, Paul. This is May. I was just calling to add to the list of bad movie tropes. You're always talking about ways that you can tell a bad movie by certain indications in the movie. I have one, I think. I hate when I see in a movie a brother or sister who is an adult call the other sibling little brother or little sister just to establish which one is older. I've never in my life heard actual adult people call each other little brother or big sister. It is just a way to give us exposition, and it's always the sign of a bad movie. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
You know, May, I am an only child. I had stepsisters. So I can't weigh in on this. But I will say that June and her sisters, they call each other big sister, little sister. They call each other sisters. But oftentimes, who is the oldest? Well, I guess older sister comes up a lot. Youngest. Those things do come up. So it may be a bad trope for you, May. But I'm going to tell you, the Rayfield family sisters, they use it. We are always looking for more Paul's Helpline voicemails. If you need some advice, or maybe you have a favorite bad movie trope you want to share too, give me a call at 619-PAUL-ASK. That's 619-728-5275. All righty, people. Here's the deal. How Did This Get Made is doing something we have not yet ever done in Los Angeles. We are doing a full-on residency. That's right. April 20th, 21st, and 22nd, we are planting our flag at Largo and doing 3 nights, 3 new movies, maybe even 3 guests. It's going to be a blast. It's during Coachella. We want you to be there. We're not going to change these dates unless something crazy good happens in our lives where we have to be somewhere else. Not like a vacation, but like a job or something. But I have a feeling these dates are going to stay locked in. April 20th, 21st, and 22nd, live at Largo. Go to largo-la.com for tickets or go to hdtgm.com. Either way, it's a great way to get tickets and see us in LA. 3 nights in a row, 3 different shows, and maybe 3 different guests. I can't wait. And while we're talking about dates, maybe mark your calendar, May 26th. May 26th might be the night that we go to Largo and do our Fast 10 episode. It's not 100% yet. It might happen. It might not. But right now, it's looking that way. Tickets are not on sale yet, but be on the lookout. But make sure you definitely check out Dinosaur every month at Largo. Jason Mantzoukas and I, plus a lot of your How Did This Get Made friends, join in for a big improv show. It is super fun. Get your tickets quick because these shows have been selling out. Also, want to remind you to check in weekly to Rob Hubel and Paul Scheer, that's me, our show on Twitch called Friend Zone. You see a bunch of great stuff happening on Friend Zone. We got George Lucas Talk Show on Friend Zone, which is great. And they're doing an Academy Awards special the night of the Academy Awards. A bunch of stuff is happening there, mainly on Thursdays. But, like, subscribe, do all those things. Anyway, let's get into it with your questions, comments, and concerns for the number 23. Right after this. Ooh, I got you. Last week, we talked at length about the number 23. We had questions, and we might have even missed a few things. I mean, that's almost next to impossible. Here's your chance to set the record straight, right? Fact check us, if you will. It is now time for Corrections and Omissions. Hit it, Brian B.
Correcting. Touch the rhythm, feel the bass. Right your wrongs, save some face. Give to me, give to them. Your corrections and omissions.
Thank you, Brian B., for that great theme. Let's go to the Discord. Oh, I love our Discord. Thank you, mods on the Discord. You are the best. Rocket Wesker writes, Isaac, Danny Houston's character, was not a good friend. Agatha phoned Isaac to convince Walter to drop his obsession using the power of academicness. Instead, Isaac, that's Danny Houston's character, used the power of academicness to essentially tell Walter, your belief is not entirely bonkers, and there is no harm to explore it further. I have no clue why Agatha still consulted him afterwards. I do believe, honestly, and this is now not Rocket Wesker talking, this is Paul talking, that there was a cut scene, an affair of some kind between Danny and Agatha. It just feels like that's what we were missing. He was set up to be that, and I feel like he was messing with her because he wanted her. Not a good friend, and that still goes to your point. I'm just saying, but I feel like there may have been a bigger reason. John Not Connor writes, what are we to make of Dr. Leary exclaiming, "You should be dead," when Walter confronts him at the mailbox store? Sounds like he basically said, "I cured you, but I'm not very good of a doctor, so you should have committed suicide. In the office pool, I gave you about 23 days. Another issue is Walter's encoded confession. Every 23rd word on every 23rd page. We must assume that these pages found their way to Dr. Leary, and he chose to publish this weird, nonsensical, incomplete story without alteration. And on exactly the same pages that Walter wrote them, a single formatting change could change the way the words fall on the pages and ruin the message. Well, John Not Connor, first of all, I don't really even understand your first point, that Dr. Leary thinks he should be dead. I think what he thinks is maybe because he read the book, he would have killed himself. I don't think he cured him, right? I mean, and as far as the book, yes, that book was published very oddly. It looks like he did keep the formatting because it was printed like truly a person who never saw a published book published a book. And I feel like in that regard, Leary did a good job. Courtney writes, regarding Dr. Sirius Leary, and by the way, we have a great Sirius Leary's Crazy Room t-shirt right now available at tpublic.com. Go check it out. Sirius is nicknamed the Dog Star, and the surname Leary, when combined with the first, basically keeps the theme of being wary or leery of dogs. Boo to this movie. Leary, oh boy. You guys are finding things in here that I don't remember at all. I'm not saying that they're not true, but you guys are nitpicking to a degree that I'm even like, what? I don't know. I love it. I'm not mad at you. I think it's great, but I'm also like, I don't remember any of these things. Anyway, let's go to the phones and let's hear from you directly. Dave, what do you got?
Paul, this is Dave. I am a big fan. I would just listen to the number 23 podcast. It was fantastic as usual. I thought there might be a little bit something you guys might discuss confirmation bias, which is that psychological idea of like seeing the thing everywhere you look, which is what they're doing with the very convoluted additions and numerology or whatever to get number 23. But what I really was hoping you guys would talk about is the fact that the kid is named Robin Sparrow. I was hoping you could devote a little bit of time to that ridiculous name because it fascinates me. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work.
Dave, thank you for pointing out something that continues to boggle me. This writer or this director loves crazy, stupid names. Robin Sparrow is dumb. I mean, it's not, I don't know if I have more to say about it than like, I feel like everything about this movie is too clever, but like, it feels like someone who is dumb trying to be smart, not like smart and clever, just like, ooh, do you see what I did there? Robin Sparrow, two different birds. Two different birds, one person. That's two birds, one person. That's 23. Anyway, I don't know. But boy, oh boy, I don't like it. Next up, Andrew from New York.
Hi, Paul. This is Andrew from NYC. I'm calling about the number 23, and I just felt compelled to share a quick little story about that movie. I moved to New York City in 2007, and I started going to a theater school. And, you're new and you're trying to meet people and you're becoming friends with people and you share interests and all that stuff. And you try not to say the wrong thing. And it was at this time that I learned that fans of that movie are very passionate. And I feel like almost like what you guys touched on, which is like people on set bought into what the movie's selling. And I think to like the movie, you have to buy into what the movie's selling. So I had made a new friend and things like we had our first like kind of fight because I think number 23 was coming out on DVD or something. And I was like, oh, that stupid looking movie's coming out like that. And he got so mad at me and was like, what? No, it's an awesome, like, have you never heard of that theory before? Like, it's an awesome, because, like, it makes a lot of sense, and it's, like, a creepy movie, and Jim Carrey does, like, some of the best acting of his career, and he just went, like, on and on and on, and then I think we, like, didn't hang out, and it was just, like, this weird thing where I learned that just, like, people that like that movie take it very, very seriously.
Oh, my gosh, our first number 23 fight. I love that this movie got you in that way. I had a fight with somebody about Forrest Gump. I love when people get passionate about things that don't make a difference. And this movie definitely doesn't make a difference. Forrest Gump, maybe a little bit more. But I'll tell you this much. I was on the side of not liking Forrest Gump. Wow. I love this movie meant something to people. And you know what? God bless him. God bless him. And Andrew, I think that that's a good way to understand. I know you're new to New York, but you found out who your real friend was. If they're going to be beholden to Jim Carrey and number 23, you don't want him. You don't need him in your life. Next up, Blake from Denver.
Hey, Blake in Denver. I cannot find the movie review for the number 23, but I distinctly remember reading reviews with my friends. And one of them said if you search every 23rd word in this article, you might find a special surprise. And if you search it all, it said this movie sucked donkey balls. And all I remember is that somehow he used Donkey Kong in the review. He or she, the reviewer, did. But it was such a treat to sit there and have my friends be like, why are you doing this? There's no way that's actually real. No one would put in the effort for it. And this reviewer did and made my day. This movie sucks donkey balls. Love the pod. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Blake. Oh my God. That is amazing. You know what? Actually, speaking of secret messages, I actually heard that, Walter Sparrow might have helped us write the episode description of our number 23 episode, which is up at earwolf.com, which has a brand new redesigned website. And our episode description, who knows what you might find if you look at secret messages that are revealed using the 23rd word of a whole section. Maybe you'll find something interesting there. I don't know. Are you up for the challenge? Maybe you are. Maybe you aren't. I haven't seen anybody post about it. So clearly, no one dug that deep. But meanwhile, Courtney is digging deep about Dogstar Leary. Back to the Discord. L. Lerner writes, I just want to point out the huge reveal about Top Secrets comes from Mark Pellegrino. In addition to playing Rip's brother Randy in No Holds Barred, Pellegrino played Jacob on Lost, and 23 was among the numbers on Jacob's list of potential replacement candidates to protect the island, along with 4, 8, 15, 16, and 42. Scott, our producer, notes that 23 was also arguably the most important of Jacob's numbers as it corresponded to the series protagonist, Jack Shepherd. Boom. Booyah. Damon Lindelof, call me. Does this resonate with you? Are you a fan of this movie? Did you know about it? End Times Fun writes, how does Agatha explain away that she moved human remains to help Walter? I wonder what the police had to say about that. And where did she stash the bones before deciding to come clean? Isaac's trunk? Agatha, your husband had kill her scratched on his arm with a Bic pen. Run away. Do not tamper with the evidence. I mean, that's a Jason Mantzoukas sentiment if I've ever heard one. Thank you, End Times Fun. Wow, so many great corrections and omissions this week, but there can only be one that is the best. And you know what? I gave you a lot of crap this week. I gave you a lot of crap about all this stuff, but I want to point out that I love that Blake was able to find this amazing review where a movie critic hid the term, this movie sucks donkey balls, in his review. That blew me away. And this week, you, Blake from Denver, win Corrections and Omissions, and you get this amazing song from Case Silva. Hit it!
You win, are you proud? Think you'll stand out from the rest of the crowd, but now here's the thing, all you get for that is just some fucking nothing.
If you want to chime in with your own thoughts about the latest episode, hit up the Discord at discord.gg/hdtgm or call us at 619-PAUL-ASK. Coming up, Jason and I chat about all the things that we are currently into. We have some fun talking about actors who didn't get the part, and we're going to go deep. This is a 30-minute conversation that really came out of nowhere. But like I said, make sure you're getting your tickets for our big Largo residency. Stick around. People, did you notice that every Monday, How Did This Get Made is pulling out old episodes from the vault and then re-releasing them back into the rotation? We are always picking fun ones. Last week was The Room. We have fun ones coming up that correspond slightly to each movie that we're doing here. But enough about all that. I've heard enough from you. Okay? What about me? What am I into? What are Jason and I talking about? It's a little segment we like to call Just Chat. Jake Hohenstein, hit us with another metal theme. Thank you, Jake. Jason, we have seen a lot of each other recently, and we've talked a lot privately about what we've been into. But I thought, let's kind of get into it because we've been talking a lot about Fast and Furious, but we haven't really gotten into what we've been watching on the side. I mean, what has been exciting to you? I will tell you this much. Knock on the Cabin.
The M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Yes, it just came out on VOD. June lives in a perpetual state of fearing that she is going to be taken. And it's because she listens to all these podcasts that are constantly, but even though she lives in that constant state of fear, last night she was like, let's watch Knock on the Cabin. And I was exhausted because the previous night I woke up, June was convinced someone was at our door. They were not.
Oh boy.
We have agreed that it's a ghost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I agreed with her to stop the conversation.
So this is a huge exclusive. This is a huge announcement on the pod. You guys have a ghost. You're living in a haunted house.
Ghost.
Wow.
Oh my God. We have a ghost.
Congrats. That's huge.
It was so funny because at one point she said, well, someone's definitely at the door. And I said, no, they're not. They just aren't at the door. I said, she's, well, someone is knocking at the door. I was like, well, okay. If we know that's not true, maybe you dreamed it. And she's like, well, honestly.
I'm so sorry. This was from a sleep?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
that's amazing. This is amazing.
And I said, well, maybe you dreamed it. And she said, no, I didn't dream it. Someone's at the door. And I showed her, footage to disprove that, to which she said, well, then it's a ghost.
Wow.
And I said, what? She's like,
well, you effectively disproved that there was somebody there. But so then the only other option is that it's a ghost.
And then when she said, it sounds like you don't believe me, I said, no, I absolutely believe you. Can I please go back to sleep? Yeah. So
what time was it?
It was like 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, God.
And then because of the fear of the ghost, we stayed up for another 2 hours. So I was really exhausted.
Oh, my God.
Last night, when I went back to bed, I was like, oh, I can't wait to get back to bed. And June's like, let's watch Knock on the door. Knock on the door, whatever that is.
Knock on the front door in the middle of the night.
So I was like, June, we can't watch literally, that's what we had to issue. Is she's like, I want to watch it. And then I was falling asleep and she kept on waking me up. Like it was like a form of torture, not because the movie was bad, but only because I was desperately trying to doze off. And then June was like, I'm too afraid. Why do you make me watch this? I'm like, I didn't. I suggested that Ashton Kutcher rom-com that's on Netflix.
Oh, boy. Oh, Ashton Kutcher, Reese Witherspoon?
Yeah.
Your Place or Mine?
I didn't even know what it was called.
The rom-com that is broaching the topic that hasn't been questioned since Sleepless in Seattle. What about a rom-com where the people are never in the same place?
Wait, is that the premise?
Yes.
Wow.
They do not share a location.
Wow. So is that why I think I saw something on
to be clear, this is what I understand it to be. I have not watched this movie yet, although I am certain I will.
Oh, I want to watch it. I will not miss a rom-com.
Oh yeah. Oh please. I watched the J-Lo Josh Duhamel Shotgun Wedding.
How was that? Great people in it.
Darcy Carden, our friend Darcy Carden, is absolutely hysterical in it. There's a lot of great people in it. Very funny. I really enjoyed it. And I think if it had been tweaked a couple of ways, it would have been incredible.
And I think that this is the thing. I give a lot to a coming of age story and a rom-com. Like, I give a lot of leeway. Like I can still enjoy it, if not love it. Like there are ones that I'm like, I'm like, it affects me still. And I feel like,
I really loved the storyline inside of the Father of the Bride, the remake of Father of the Bride. I thought that movie was fantastic. But the storyline that I really loved was Andy Garcia and Gloria Estefan reigniting their love story. You know what I mean? Like that their story was, their marriage rather was falling apart, and they were trying to hide it from the younger generation. I really liked that storyline.
There is another movie that just came out. It's two married couples, and their kids are dating. And then when they have everybody over for dinner, they find out that the husband of like the son is having an affair with the wife of the other one. It's like,
What movie is it though?
I feel like William H. Macy is in it.
Haven't they all been sleeping with each other? They're both.
It's called Maybe I Do. Maybe I Do.
Both couples are in adulterous affairs.
Yes,
unknowingly with each other's spouse.
Yes, so it's Richard Gere and Diane Keaton and Susan Sarandon and William H. Macy. I don't know how it all shakes out, but either they're married or they are having adulterous affairs, while Luke Bracey and Emma Roberts, their children, are in a happy relationship. And that was a movie where I really saw the trailer and I was like, I need to get deeper in on what this is. Because I feel like every now and then there are these like weird movies, like these rom-coms that come out that definitely are for older people. Or star some older people, but I've never like they're out for a day, like they're just like they get a 1-day release or something like that. There's a Alec Baldwin one that I'm going to find right now that also is like this. I often find them on hotel TVs.
Oh wow, okay,
yeah, because I feel like they're released there primarily. This one is called Drunk.
Wait a second, I'm not gonna. You think that's primarily where they're released?
I feel like it's like
that
every now and then.
Incredible if Marriott started making. It's like, hey, who's making that movie? Oh, Marriott. They're funding a $3 million rom-com just for their pay-per-view.
All right, please, someone will correct me and tell me I'm wrong, but I will say that the way that I imagine it is that if you're on a pay-per-view TV, it's more elevated than video on demand. So it's like, you're first going to the exclusive now in theaters window on Marriott Bonvoy network. And then we go to streaming. And then, so this movie is the one that I've been obsessed with. And we should maybe do this for the show. I haven't watched it. It's called Drunk Parents.
Oh, yes. Alec Baldwin and Salma Hayek.
Yeah. Wow. You knew that one right out of the gate.
I remember watching the trailer for it.
Well, that's where I'm at too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it seems very gross, like a gross out movie.
Yes. And it seems like it's piggybacking off of the bad blank meme that was happening in movies. Bad teacher, bad moms, all these bad blank kind of things. And this one is like drunk parents, bad parents, basically.
They basically get really drunk or they try to hide. I mean, but this is what I'm talking about. Did this movie come out in the theater? Now, by the way, Drunk Parents is rocking a higher score than Maybe I Do. The adulterous parent. Maybe I Do is the adulterous parents.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So look, who knows? I mean,
my God.
But I do believe that there are these movies being made. It's just harder and harder to find.
Well, there's also I feel like we've talked a lot about all of the now industry that is making holiday movies. Oh, yeah. Nonstop, constantly. And I do feel like there is a secondary industry that is just making like direct to video, essentially direct to streamers now, rom-coms. That are just being pumped into, built off of the success of Whether it's the teen ones, whether it's some of the young adult ones that we've done.
Kissing Booth.
Kissing Booth, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And then the younger adult ones like Set It Up and
I love Set It Up.
I love it, incredible, and some of those movies, and like you're saying, this older generation set of movies that are like the Baldwins, that whole crowd. There is now, they're pushing such rom-com content inside of all of those ecosystems that I think everybody is getting a shot. But you're right, they all just get dumped onto Marriott, pay-per-view.
And you're in this weird world where you are, it's like that company that makes movies like Transmorphers. And that's a true title. So like when you are searching on video on demand, you're like, oh, I want to see that new Transformers movie. And you quickly just select that one. Like, for example, the other day, I needed to call Roto-Rooter back to my house because Roto-Rooter was here. And I quickly looked and I called...
Cool brag.
And I called Roto Hero. Oh. But again, it's like you're close enough and it just goes in. And all these rom-coms, they don't have to be Transmorphers, but like these titles, Your Place or Mine, Maybe I Do, Set It Up. They're all these very vague titles.
But they all sound alike. It's like, all of the Steven Seagal movies are like three
Out for Justice.
Exactly.
It's whatever you could say. It's like Steven Seagal is blank. He's out for justice. He's under fire.
But
he's in enemy territory.
If you asked me which one of these is which, I would have no idea. And it's the same thing. If you gave me a list of recent rom-com titles and then the stars of those movies, I don't think I could link them all up. They're so generic.
Well, and I wonder if this is like part of the play. It's like, it just sounds kind of fun, right? Like, I mean, listen to, like, this is what we got here. I'm going to read you a couple of these romance films. Your Place or Mine, Love at First Kiss, Prom Pact, Perfect Edition, Little White Lie.
Oh, wow.
Perfect Find, Love It Again.
Oh, wow.
One True Love, Tourist Guide to Love, Love at First Kiss.
Like recent? Like
these are all coming out. These are all coming out.
Coming out.
These are all coming out like in March. I just read you March. Yeah.
Oh God.
That's just March. Wow. She Is Love.
That's it.
Meet
and
Me in Paris.
I feel like this is the equivalent of like beach reads. You know what I mean? These are like, I bet a half of or more of these are based on books.
Absolutely,
The way that like the Nicholas Sparks books dominated romance stories and stuff like that for a bunch of years. Like I think, because these also sound like just straight romance movies, not necessarily rom-coms. You know what I mean? But it's that's what I mean. It's such an industry now that we're getting pushed. Like you could watch one of these every night if you wanted to.
I mean, here it is. So I just looked up Shotgun Wedding. And when you look at Shotgun Wedding, what you have underneath it is, if you like this, you will also like People We Hate at the Wedding, About Fate, Somebody I Used to Know, I Want You Back, Something from Tiffany's, Marry Me.
Somebody
After
that
the Ball.
I used to know is the Ali Brie Davy Franco movie.
Which is very fun.
That's super fun. I'm trying to think of
The Wedding Trip.
Which of those that I'm trying to think which of those do I know?
Oh, okay.
And it's so few of them. Like,
well,
that's what
again,
I mean.
it's like I know Something from Tiffany's from our friend Daryl Ween. He directed that one, and that's but again, you're right. Like I want. It like nothing against this has nothing to do about the quality of the movies. It just has to do about the marshmallow fluff of the title.
One of these movies.
The title.
Yeah.
I think the titlings are getting more benign because at least like People We Hate at the Wedding, I understand what that is.
Yes,
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, I understand what that is. Shotgun Wedding, I understand what that is. But once we start getting into like just titles like About Fate, I have no fucking idea what that's.
What's interesting is like Shotgun Wedding is a term that is not part of the movie Shotgun Wedding.
Right, because Shotgun Wedding is the idea that like you are forced into a marriage.
Yes, because you are having a baby. That is my understanding of the phrase Shotgun Wedding.
And here's what I would say. Is Shotgun Wedding, the movie that you saw, is there a shotgun use somehow?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
This is a wedding that has guns appear at it.
Yes.
You know
Okay.
what I mean?
There you
But by the way, really enjoyed the movie.
And by the way, I have
Jennifer
to say,
Coolidge in it. Great.
it's a great cast. And I will say that one of my favorite texts I've ever gotten was from Darcy. We were texting back and forth about doing something, and she was like, I have to go. I'm on a helicopter right now with,
Yes.
oh gosh, there's a big
scene-
action. Yeah.
The scene in the helicopter is so fucking funny. It's great.
It was making me, I was like, what is this movie? And she was like, it is like, it's amazing. And
It's
it
nuts.
is like, and it is like it. And that's one
when
that
you watch it, mind is going to be blown because when you watch it from the point of view of you knowing a little bit about making a movie, there's an enormous period in the movie time in which everybody who's a wedding guest at the wedding is forced at gunpoint into the pool. And I was like, oh no, how many days must they have shot where they had to be in a pool all day, every day? And it must have been weeks in the pool, because most of Act 2, the entire wedding party is in a pool.
There are moments like that where I really am. I think about that, and I think about how uncomfortable it is. And
how many
rashes? I write, I mean, look, Jason, I think about you all the time when you did John Wick. That movie was all in the rain, right? And you just shot for a little bit.
I only shot for a matter of days. Keanu Reeves is in pouring rain. They rig every street so that it doesn't just rain a little, it pours. Like rehearsal 1 of my first scene, first rehearsal with the rain, I was drenched. It was the middle of the night and I was soaked through completely. And then he's doing that all night, every night, and executing incredible fight choreography. It's nuts.
I don't even understand how you do that. And I'll tell you that the only time have you ever worked under, I mean, yes, you worked with the rain machine there. I worked with a rain machine in Atlanta, and there's a moment, because it's not hot water, it's cold.
No. Oh yeah.
And there's that moment when you know it's coming on and you're just like, oh fuck. Oh shit. And it's like, and then you just get drenched, and then they would shut it off and you get a little bit more comfortable, and then you go back into it. It really, anybody who can even act under that, like to do stunts.
I've also shot a number of things in cold pools where it's supposed to be summer and you're supposed to be having like a cool, fun, carefree, we're in the pool, but it's an unheated, freezing cold pool. And that is, you're shivering, and then you have to try and be like, hey, flirty, cool, whatever. It's tough.
I just don't understand why. Why are we being forced into water?
Ask James Cameron.
Oh my God! Imagine that. I
can't. Holy shit.
By the way, did you get? We are both, and I think you are heavily. You're more in History of the World Part 2, the new Nick Kroll, Wanda Sykes, and Ike Barinholtz show on Hulu. It's going to be a 4-night event coming up in just a couple of weeks in March here. Did you have to do anything uncomfortable for that?
No, I'm only in one sketch, and it was very easy. It takes place at the Oslo Accords. Like it's a UN sketch. So everybody represents a different country. I'm Greece. Michaela Watkins is in it. Darcy Carden's in the scene. Andy Daly's in the scene. And it just is like an argument amongst like officials from different countries. It's very easy, very funny game that just keeps heightening and heightening and heightening. And I won't say what the game is, but it's very funny.
I'm excited for that show because just knowing Kroll and seeing things that I saw and talking to him, the amount of people that are in it.
I went to the premiere last night, and the number of incredible comedians, from like young, fantastic comedians to like Marla Gibbs and Mel Brooks, for that matter. Like the cast list is incredible. Like it's just also fun to watch sketches. I so enjoy watching sketches. So it was fun to watch an hour of sketch comedy in a theater full of people.
Oh my gosh,
it was
the best. Now, did you get to meet Mel Brooks?
I did not. I did not. He was a brief appearance. I was frankly shocked he showed up at 96 years old. I was like, protect Mel Brooks, keep him safe. He came in, he just said a few words. He came in with jokes, just destroyed for, a couple of minutes, and then they showed the episodes. It was fantastic. It was fucking cool as hell.
I got to meet Mel Brooks once at his office because he came on an episode of How Did This Get Made after we did Solar Babies with John Mulaney. One of our amazing researchers, Blake J. Harris, did like an interview with Mel Brooks, and it was really the downside of it. It was terrible recording. This is before a pandemic and people had figured out their recording situation. Yeah. But he was transcribing these interviews, and you can still find them on /film. Just type it in. But Mel Brooks talks about Solar Babies, and I just thanked him for that. And he's like, "I'll come by the office and get a cup of coffee." Oh, wow. And watching him just tool around at probably was like 94 at this time, or it was awesome. Yeah. Like, it was so cool to see him tell stories, be funny, be relaxed, and he pitched me some ideas for Spaceballs that he was working on, Spaceballs 2.
So great.
And I just love that he just has this energy of, like wanting to keep on making stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like him, Norman Lear, another person who well into his 90s is still making great stuff. Like there's people who are, I just watched the Dick Cavett, Groucho Marx American Masters episode that came out last month or a couple months ago. Fantastic. And again, you're just watching, it's both a documentary that is about the later years of Groucho's life when Cavett's a young man, but Cavett now, as an old man, is reflecting on that period inside the documentary. So you're getting both of them in their older years looking back, and it's terrific.
Yeah, I love, I just love that kind of stuff when you get to see these things. I was at the Academy Museum, which is basically a tribute to the Academy Awards, but also cinema in every way. And they have these amazing exhibits, constantly changing. It's so fun. But they had this section for Boys in the Hood, just like they had this little area for it. And they had all this footage of everybody from Boys in the Hood, like on set shooting that movie, like Lawrence Fishburne in costume, in character. And it's so fun to be able to watch these like really great pieces of doc footage of these people back in the moment. Like even watching Martin Sheen audition for The Godfather, because they have a full Godfather like wing right now. Cool. And it was like, just watching him do these scenes and then talk to Coppola. Like, I just love, I'm a sucker for that. I can go and watch that stuff all the time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, that's what I love about, that's one of the rabbit holes I can go down on YouTube is behind the scenes footage or making of footage from things that I like, because a lot of that ended up on DVD extras or ended up in short form documentaries that were tagged onto special features and stuff like that. So a lot of it has made its way to YouTube. And you can just watch all of that, including auditions, including screen tests, all that stuff. I love. Now, I'll watch that all the time.
Now, sometimes, like when you see somebody like Martin Sheen audition for The Godfather, would you ever allow yourself to have because I think famously, like Seth Rogen, his audition is up for The Office, but and it's fun. Like these are like Martin Sheen is great, Seth Rogen's great. Like it's all different. Like, would you ever allow yourself to put your audition up there?
I guess I would if I watched it and didn't find. I mean, but I suspect I would feel very uncomfortable. With those, especially with those. That period of auditions, like from the very beginning of when I was auditioning for stuff that then became like iconic or beloved things, know, there's a part of me that's like, oh, cool, sure. But there's another part of me that's like, oh no, I don't want that stuff out there. I don't know that I would also upload like the first scripts that I wrote to the internet for people to dissect. That's not a period where I was hitting home runs. Obviously, I didn't get the job.
But, it's also like, it's a funny thing because I think sometimes it just shows like with Martin Sheen in The Godfather, like you watch it and you go, oh, well, he's very good, but he's like, it's just different. It's
sure. It's like Christopher Walken auditioning for Han Solo.
Right. And it's and I feel like that, but it's hard, I think, to have that perspective to be like, this is good, it's not right. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I have the wherewithal to, because I think I would feel like I did it wrong. Like I did it wrong if I didn't get it. Like you really have to kind of hit it out of the park.
Yes, I think it would have to be something that I felt good about, regardless of the fact that I didn't get the role, but I'm still like, I'm cool with what I did, versus I think there were lots of auditions that I would be like, if forced to rewatch them, I would be like, oh, of course I didn't get this job. This is terrible.
Well, now, by the way, speaking of which, have you seen, and not that this is terrible, but it's interesting. Have you seen Tom Selleck audition for Indy?
No.
Oh,
I mean, I know
cool.
that he was Spielberg's choice. And Magnum was the like Remington Steele and Pierce Brosnan. Both of those guys missed out on iconic roles, James Bond and Indiana Jones, because their TV commitments.
So they did a full-on screen test with Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones, and I have not been able to find more than like 30 seconds of it. Oh, okay. But it's him and Sean Young.
Incredible.
And it's I'm sending it to you right now, so you can watch it. Here, let me share my screen. I'll just share the screen for a second because it's worth it.
Look, I did what I did. I don't expect you to be happy about it, but maybe it can do us both some good.
Why start
Just
now?
shut up. Shut up and listen to me. Now I need that piece your father had.
And that's all it is.
Oh, so it's very short. Okay.
It's very short. I think that's all that maybe he agreed to, or that's yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
But it is interesting. He's tough.
Yes, he's very much Magnum. This is Magnum era, and it's a lot more like overtly gruff and aggressive in a way that I feel like it just in this clip, he doesn't even have the charm of Magnum.
No,
which is too bad, which he very well could have found.
Oh, I mean, by the way, like, who knows? Yeah, exactly.
There's a version of this that works, although, I don't know. Like, I would love to believe it only because Magnum is my favorite. But I mean, you just cannot separate Harrison Ford from Indiana Jones. That's like,
well, I think that's it too. Like,
perfection.
is Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford?
It's interesting to see this clip you just played. The iconic Indiana Jones outfit is already in place.
Yes,
like the hat, the jacket, all of the components are there, and they've already decided that.
And it looks a little goofier on him, and no offense, but I do enjoy, I guess, actors who are comfortable enough to allow themselves, because at a certain point, someone had, like George Lucas or Steven Spielberg, had to say, "Hey, Tom, we want to use it. Can we use it? It's years later."
Well, this reminds me of the Back to the Future. The Back to the Future cut that is Eric Stoltz instead
which they
of
never
Michael
let
J.
audio.
Fox. They never did, because I mean, they just didn't. But even still, for years, there was only like a handful of photos.
Yeah, black and white stills. Yeah.
And that was it. You would tell people, and people would be like, "What are you talking about?" And you'd be like, "Here's a picture of Eric Stoltz."
And this is what I believe. Eric Stoltz is saying, "I don't want that out there."
Yeah.
Eric Stoltz is. And because he can allow himself, I don't think he can have control over
like production
the footage, production stills or footage without sound. But once that sound gets in there,
isn't that interesting?
Because I would love to see him do that. At this point, we all know Eric Stoltz is a great actor. But again, that's us. And you see, this is the ego that we're talking about. Like, we understand that you're great. It's just interesting to see how you would have attacked it, which was bad. We all know it's bad. You got fired from it. Like, but you've had a great career.
Or you didn't get it. Like there are so many roles, so many iconic roles in TV shows that you and I have both auditioned for that we did not get. That then went on to be played by incredible actors doing incredible work.
I'm trying to think of like the most famous thing that I auditioned for that I didn't get, that it's hard to remember it like all like, but it is like, it's funny because sometimes when you watch it, like,
a lot of them too were just like, I was one of hundreds of people who auditioned at the very beginning of a process that yielded the iconic cast of The Office.
I 100%.
I wasn't close to getting the role.
And that's what I'm not saying like, but there are those moments where you're like, oh, I was so far off, or, oh, that would have been so crazy.
Let me
like,
ask you this. Have you ever, I've done this now a few times where I'll find a show, I'll love it, some older show.
Yeah.
And then I will be like, wow, wouldn't it have been great to be on this or something like that? And then I'll look it up in my email and realize I did audition for it. Or I didn't end up auditioning for it, but there was maybe potential for it or something like that. And I'm like, whoa, there's like a ship's passing in the night of a show that you love.
Yes. And by the way, speaking of that, we know that June had that experience firsthand with the hottie and the naughty.
Exactly. Oh.
All right, Jason, we got to wrap it up, but let's check in very soon to keep on chatting. All right. Woof. Good conversation. I could have kept on going there. If anyone has the full Magnum PI, or I should say Tom Selleck audition, please send it to us. Now that we got number 23 out of the way, let's talk about next week's movie. We are going from seeing a man named Topsy Kretz to skiing women who are topless. Anyway, next week we are watching the 1991 comedy Ski School. And guess what, people? You've been begging for it. We are bringing back a guest for Ski School. That's right. Get ready for our first guest episode in quite some time. Here's a short breakdown of Ski School. Rival groups in a ski school do battle on and off the slopes. One gang are rich and pompous, and the other are party animals. This movie has 0 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. What a crime. So instead, we turn to Nate Johnson on Letterboxd, who says, this is what you would get if a Labatt Blue commercial had a child with a soft core porn. You know what? While not totally inaccurate, the movie is better than that review. Anyway, listen to the trailer.
Ski School. It's not about learning how to ski. For Dave Marshall and his gang, life is one big party.
Welcome to my kingdom. I will bed you all before the night is through.
But the competition is fierce.
The dead. I control this mountain, and I say this is your last year.
With their backs against the wall, they'll do anything to win.
Do you want to have sex with me?
Okay, let's get naked!
Oh boy, I can't wait. You can watch Ski School on Amazon Prime Video, Paramount Plus, and Tubi. I encourage you to also check out Hoopla or Canopy, which are digital media services offered by your local public library that allow you to borrow movies, music, audiobooks, ebooks, comics, and TV shows to enjoy on your computer, tablet, or phone, or even your TV for free. That is it for the show. Please remember to rate and review. It helps. And if you listen on Apple Podcasts, make sure you are following us. Visit us on social media at HDTGM. And for commercial-free access to How Did This Get Made and our entire archive and so much more, sign up for Stitcher Premium for a free 1-month trial. Use the code BONKERS. A big thank you to our producers, Scott, Sonny, and Molly Reynolds, our movie-picking producer, Avril Halley, our engineer, Alex Gonzalez, and our publisher, July Diaz. We will see you next week for Ski School.